choice of technology and construction method followed in the construction planning. Your choice of right technology and construction methods are critical aspects in the success of your project execution. For example, your decision whether to make concrete structures on site or order prefabricated ones will directly affect the cost and duration tasks involved in the construction process. Finding the right digital solution for your project will be decisive for how protective your term is, as it will directly affect the time it takes for the various activities to be completed and the flow from one activity to another by cutting down on unnecessary administrative tasks. As in the development of appropriate alternatives for facility design, choice of appropriate technology and methods for construction are often ill-structured yet critical ingredients in the success of projects. In selecting among alternative methods and technologies, it may be necessary to formulate a number of plans based on the alternative methods or assumptions. Once the full plan is available, then the cost, time and reliability impacts the alternative approaches can be reviewed. In forming construction plans, a useful approach is to stimulate the construction process either in imagination of planner or with a formal computer-based simulation technique. By observing that result, comparisons among different plans or problems with the existing plans can be identified. For example, a decision to use a particular piece of equipment for an operation immediately leads to the question of whether or not there is a sufficient access space for equipment. Three-dimensional geometric models in the computer-aided design system may be helpful in the simulating space requirement for operations and for identifying any interference. Similarly, problems in resource availability identified during the simulation of the construction process might be effectively forestalled by providing additional resources as part of the construction plan. For example, in laser leveling, technology choice is the use of laser leveling equipment to improve the productivity of excavation and grading. In this system, laser surveying equipment is erected on its site so that the relative height of the mobile equipment is known exactly. This height measurement is accomplished by a flashing rotating laser light on a level plane across the construction site and observing exactly where the light shines on the receptors on mobile equipment such as gardens. Since the laser light does not disperse appreciably, the height at which the laser shines anywhere on the construction site gives an accurate indication of the height of receptor on a piece of mobile equipment. In turn, the receptor height can be used to measure the height of blade, excavator bucket or other piece of equipment. Combined with the electro-hydraulic control system mounted on mobile equipment such as bulldozer, grader and scrappers, the height of the excavation and grading blades can be precisely and automatically controlled in the system. This automation of blade height has reduced cost in some cases by over 80% and improved quality in the finished product as measured by the desired amount of excavation or the extent to which the final grade achieves the desired angle. The system also permits the use of smaller machines and less skilled labor. However, the use of this semi-automated system requires investment in the laser surveying equipment as well as modification to equipment to permit electronic feedback control units. Still, laser leveling appears to be an excellent technological choice in many instances. Defining working task. How we have to define the working task to various activities. At the same time that the choice of technology and general method are considered, a parallel step in the planning process is to define the various tasks that must be accomplished. These work tasks represent the necessary framework to permit scheduling of construction activities along with estimating resources required by the individual work tasks and any necessary precedence or required sequence among the tasks. The definition of appropriate work task can be laborious and tedious process, yet it represents the necessary information for application of formal scheduling procedures. Since the construction process can involve thousands of individual work tasks, this definition phase can also be expensive and time consuming. Fortunately, many tasks may be repeated in different parts of the facility, or past facility construction plans can be used as a general model for new projects. For example, tasks involved in the construction of a building floor may be repeated with only minor differences for each of the floor in the building. Also, standard definitions and nomenclatures for the most tasks exist, while repetition of activities in different locations or reproduction activities from past projects reduces the work involved. The extent of work involved in any one activity can vary tremendously in construction project time. Indeed, it is common to begin with a fairly coarse definition of activities and then to further subdivide tasks as the plan becomes better defined. The construction plan can easily range between less than 100 to many thousand defined tasks depending upon the planner's decision and scope of the project. If subdivided activities are too refined, the size of the network becomes unwieldy and the cost of the planning excessive. Defining various tasks is a vital in framing the schedule for your construction activities. In that way, you can estimate the resources needed and timetable the record sequences and critical path among tasks. Defining appropriate work tasks is tedious but a necessity in playing formal scheduling process and in standardizing specific tasks. Once the tasks are defined correctly, a hierarchy of activities emerges which can be visualized. Example of task definition for a road building project. In construction planning, suppose we wish to develop a plan for a road construction project including two culverts. Initially, we divide the project activities into three categories such as structure, general and roadway. This division is based on the major types of design elements to be constructed. Within the roadwork, a further subdivision into earthwork and pavement. The roadway has been subdivided into earthwork and pavement. Within these subdivisions, we identify clearing, excavation, filling and finishing associated with earthwork, and we define watering, compaction and paving sub-activities associated with the pavement. Finally, we note that the roadway segment is fairly long and so individual activities can be identified for a different physical segments along the roadway path. We divide each paving and earthwork activity into activities specific to each of two roadway segments. For the culvert construction, we define the subdivisions of structural excavation, concreting and reinforcing. Even more specifically, structural excavation is divided into excavation itself and the required backfill and compaction. Similarly, concreting is divided into placing concrete form, pouring concrete, stripping form and curing concrete. As the final step in the structural planning, detailed activities are defined for reinforcing each of the two culverts. General work activities are defined for move-in, general supervision and cleanup. As a result of this planning, over 30 different detailed activities have been defined. Precedence relationship among the activities. After work activities are defined, you can now specify the relationship among them. Precedence relationship between tasks and activities mean that activities must happen in particular sequence. Numerous natural sequence exists for construction activities due to requirement for structural integrity, regulation and other technical requirements. More complicated precedence relationship can also be specified. For example, one activity might not be able to start for several days after the completion of another activity. As a common example, concrete might have to cure or set for several days before formwork is removed. This restriction on the removal of forms activity is called a lag between completion of one activity, which means pouring concrete in this case, and start of the another activity, which means removing formwork in this case. Many computer-based scheduling programs permit the use of variety of precedence relationships. Finally, it is important to realize that different types of precedence relationship can be defined and that each has different implications for the schedule of activities. Some activities have a necessary technical or physical relationship that cannot be superseded. For example, concrete pours cannot proceed before formwork and reinforcement are in place. Some activities have a necessary precedence relationship over a continuous phase rather than as discrete work task relationship. For example, formwork may be placed in the first part of an excavation trench even as the excavation equipment continues to work further along in the trench. Former placement cannot be proceed further than the excavation, but the two activities can be sorted and stopped independently within this constraint. Some precedent relationships are not technically necessary but are imposed due to the implicit decisions within the construction plan. For example, two activities may require same piece of equipment, so the precedent relationship might be defined between the two to ensure that they are not scheduled for the same time period. Which activity is scheduled first is arbitrary. As a second example, reversing the sequence of two activities may be technically possible but more expensive. In this case, the precedent relationship is not physically necessary but only applies to reduce the cost as per at the time of scheduling.